It just keeps getting crazier for Stephon Castle as he absolutely refuses to slow down, upping his averages on the season. 14, 4, and 4 with his last 5 games being absolutely insane with 24 rebounds and 20 assists over his last 2. The Rookie of the Year race is far and away gone. We got to talk about exactly why Stephon Castle has just not slowed down, hit that rookie wall even a little bit, but we have some even more news around the Spurs centering around veteran point guard Chris Paul as a brand new update reveals some very key details about his future in the NBA and with the Spurs franchise. We have to dive into all of that coming up on this episode of Spurs Digest, and we're going to start with the Chris Paul article. Now, I will link this down below. Feel free to go check it out. Please credit the original authors as Chris Paul reveals a few details about his future in the league. Right now, we all know Chris Paul, he's getting older. It's no secret. The guy's a veteran in the NBA. He's about 40 years old. He's one of the only guys, I think it's just him and LeBron left from the 03 and 04 draft classes. But he's been, we've been hinting at retirement a little bit. Is he going to stick around maybe in a coaching capacity? Well, Chris had some stuff to say, and the actual article starts off the title saying, "My love for the game is even higher now." Chris Paul set to evaluate his future. Approaching 40, he thinks he can keep playing. And with each passing day, they say in the article, Paul thinks about the days he's missing from his wife and children's lives. The thing with Chris Paul is that, he does say it's tough, could be a lot worse, but I'm still able to play. Just like any parent, I definitely miss my kids and wife. And the thing with Chris Paul is that all signs are indicating he's ready to come back next season, but the question is, will it be with the San Antonio Spurs? And before I evaluate what my thoughts are, let me know your thoughts down below right now. If Chris Paul comes back for another season, would you want him in San Antonio? Would you want to see him somewhere else? Would you want him to come back, maybe retire in a coaching capacity? I'd love to hear your thoughts, but we can't deny this guy's had a pretty solid season for his age. He's only 30 days away, 31 days away as the recording of this video, from turning 40 years old. He's been really good. 9 points per game, a 7.6 assists per game, 4 boards per game, still getting those steals like we know Chris Paul can. Solidly efficient. Again, the field goal percentage going down a bit, as you would expect with an older player, but his 3-point percentage has honestly been really good, and there's no reason to doubt that he's ready to keep playing. He actually said in this article, talking to his friends, people that have retired, people that were in the same draft class as him, saying, "Listen, man, play as long as you can." And watching him this season, there's no reason to think that, he'd be done after this year. Chris Paul has been very solid for the San Antonio Spurs this season. The problem with the Spurs is the depth chart right now. Because if he was to come back for another season in San Antonio, he would not be a starter. And based on some of the stuff we already know about Chris Paul, I know acquiring De'Aaron Fox at the deadline raised some questions. Will Chris Paul continue to start the rest of the way? Well, he did. He is now. And Castle was coming off the bench until Fox went down for surgery. We'll talk about Castle in a bit, but Chris Paul would have to take a bench role. At this point, there's no doubt. Stephon Castle has earned that starting spot. De'Aaron Fox will be starting. Wemby will be starting. Probably Vassell and Sochan alongside them. Maybe Harrison Barnes. We don't really know. So Chris Paul's days as a starter are likely over in San Antonio. The question is, would he want to be a starter again? And again, maybe he'd want to move back to near his family in LA. And again, we go back to this quote from him. He said, "Look, it could be worse. I'm still able to play. Just like any parent, though, I miss my kids and wife." And when he was in LA, he could do all this stuff. He could be around his family and still play. And right now in San Antonio, I know he chose to sign here, and he's bounced around a bunch of other teams like OKC, like Phoenix, like Houston, all this kind of stuff. But with him now, it really comes down to what he feels at 40 years old. If he keeps playing, my odds are probably that he's heading to the West Coast somewhere. Maybe he stays with the Spurs. And hey, maybe if he does retire, we don't really know. But I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Considering what we're hearing right now is that Chris Paul wants to keep playing next year. Would you want him back on the San Antonio Spurs if he's willing to accept a bench role? Because if he is, honestly, I don't see any reason why not. But look, there's a lot of factors around that, and big reason he won't be a starter for San Antonio next year is because of the emergence of Stephon Castle. It's not even just the emergence. It's the unbelievable play he's been having as of late. Now, I just bring this up again. 14 points this season, 4 boards, 4 assists, but that doesn't even paint the whole picture because in his recent outings, he has been absolutely phenomenal. We have to talk about it, right? 15, 15, and 9 the other night, and coming out last game, I should put it here, coming out last game against Cleveland. Heartbreaking loss, of course. Not going to dive into that. I don't want to revisit it. But 22 points, 11 assists, 9 rebounds. He also leads all rookies in total steals with 69 on the season. He has been so good. Again, the turnovers were a bit of a problem against Orlando. He has some dud games here and there, but the consistency with the scoring and the fact his efficiency has been climbing steadily throughout the season. Three-point shooting is still a bit of a question mark, but these last 2 games, 24 rebounds and 20 assists is nuts for a guard, right? 37 points, 22 or 24 rebounds, 20 assists. Just let that sink in. But it's not just that. We can extrapolate this sample to more than just the last 2 games. If I go his last 13 games here, just, a nice little sample size of 13 games, I think I stopped at like a 26-point game before a 9-point game. Mildly cherry-picked, doesn't even really matter. Over his last 13 games, Stephon Castle is averaging 18.8 points per game, 5.9 assists, 5.8 rebounds. That's a far cry from what he was doing earlier this season. I mean, well, maybe not a far cry. It's what he was doing, just drastically improved, which is just crazy that every single day it feels like we have more stuff to say, more great stuff to say about Stephon Castle's production, his performance with this team, and even the efficiency. Like, while it's not been amazing, 42% from the field, 29% from 3, let me argue that it actually is very good, because if I jump back to his season stats, this is just the last 13, 42, 29. On the season, it's almost the exact same, right? 42.5 instead of 42.4, 28.4% instead of about 29%. Pretty similar last 13 games of the whole season, which would naturally make you say, well, okay, that's kind of what his efficiency is. It's pretty bad. But let me counter that with the fact that over this last 13 game stretch, he's been shooting way more. He's been way more involved in the offense. He's been given the ball a lot more, again, because Wembanyama is not there, because Fox is not there. Naturally, he's been playing against a lot better competition when he's on the floor. So, in my opinion, you can look at this and say his stats over the last 13 are more impressive than the rest of the season. Not just because his scoring has gone up, his rebounding and assist numbers have gone up. His numbers across the board have gone up while the efficiency has stayed the same. And again, I'm not saying the efficiency is good, but what I am saying is to see no drop in efficiency from playing more of a bench role to coming in and being one of the primary scorers every single night. To see no drop in efficiency, that to me is the biggest, craziest part of this. The fact that no matter what role he's in, he's staying consistent. He still does need to improve that 3-point shot. The form is good. The signs are there that it's going to keep rolling. He still could be a bit more efficient from the field, but again, a lot of that does come from his 3-point shooting, with 3-point shooting being about a bit over a fifth of his shots, right? Actually, can I see that? I think I can see that here. 34% of all his shots are threes. Actually, that's a lot more than I thought on the season. So again, increasing that 3-point percentage is going to increase that field goal percentage. His 2-point percentage is really, really not that bad. Can I see it there? 48.2%. Is that what it said? 48.2% from 2 over this last 13 game stretch, which is, again, could be improved, but really not bad. So all things considered, again, the fact that the efficiency is not dipping is the craziest thing to me. And I wanted to highlight one last thing. This is the guy he's going up against for Rookie of the Year, basically. The ladder of the top 3 for a little while has been Stephon Castle, Zachary Ricochet out of Atlanta, and Alex Sarr out of Washington. And Ricochet's been doing good. You'll see a lot of Hawks fans, because they're salty that we have their pick, because they're salty that Stephon Castle is outperforming their first overall pick. Like, Ricochet deserves that Rookie of the Year. It's crazy that Castle and his bad efficiency is getting it. Look, Ricochet's been good. He had that 36-point game there. He has a few 30-point games this season. But again, I just want to compare and contrast. You might see a lot of people talking about Zachary Ricochet for good reason. He's been good. But honestly, you look at these last 5 games. I know last 5 games is a small sample. You can make it bigger for Ricochet. You can make it bigger for Castle. But ultimately, look, the narrative come the end of the season is a big one. And right now, Stephon Castle, you can't argue, over the last little bit has clearly been the Rookie of the Year. I'm ready for him to win it. Let me know what you think about my takes on his efficiency not going down with scoring more, because to me, again, I think that's incredibly impressive, and I'm very excited to see what else is going to come from him in the future, because I don't know, I didn't think I could get more hyped. Then, Summer League was really hyped, and then he came into the season, and he was really good right away, and I was pretty hyped. He hit a bit of a wall, but now he just keeps getting better and better and better. The improvements in season have been phenomenal. But let me know your thoughts on all that down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Spurs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching every single day. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you in the next one.